We'll be going over how to install SORBA using a Docker image. In order to install SORBA using a Docker image, you'll need to have the latest version of Docker Engine or Docker Desktop installed and working. You also need administrative access to the machine that will host your SORBA instance. And note that by default, the SORBA SDE will expose the UI over port 443, port 80, and port 1883. However, you can modify this when you are setting up your container. In order to install SORBA using Docker, all you'll need to do is run the following command as I'm displaying here on my screen. This command can also be copy-pasted from the installation instructions that come with the Docker install. In order to avoid having to run this again, I'm going to show one that I've already set up here. As you can see within Docker Desktop, I have my SDE running here with the default ports. If I want to modify the ports that I'm using, I can do so when I actually run this command by modifying after the -p and modifying the ports that I am using for this instance. By default, it will be running on localhost, but before we go to that, let's go into our Docker Desktop and view my SDE. From here, we can see our logs. We can see all of the container files that make up this container. I'll give that just a moment to load. And you can also see your inspect for the container. And in just a moment, the container files should load. There we go. Here we can see all the files that make up our SORBA instance. And as mentioned, when installing this way, you'll be able to navigate to localhost. And you will see your SORBA instance running as expected. And that is how you install SORBA using a Docker image.